Yeah. Young man, always surfing, no waves.
Well, hey kids, welcome to this Thursday's edition of the Daily Snack. This is a special happy Thursday because y'all don't have school tomorrow. If you're a part of MCPS, there's no school tomorrow. It's the end of the first semester. It means you are halfway to the finish line of school this year. Woohoo! Oh man, that is reason to celebrate and party. I'm glad you're celebrating with us here at the Daily Snack. Now, if you haven't seen any of our episodes this week, it's a perfect time. You got a little bit of downtime this afternoon, downtime tomorrow. Go back, watch what has been going on in the Daily Snack this week. Because we've had a great time. We had a trivia challenge. We took a look at an extreme story from the Bible that Jesus told. We looked at the Winter Extreme X Factor games with Rock and Scooter. We had a great time with all of that. And today we want to dig into our key for extreme living, which we learned this week was disciples of Jesus show mercy. And that's a really, really important key for us to live these extreme lives that God designed us to live. Now, what is mercy? We talk about how mercy is when we forgive someone and we don't make them pay the consequences or the punishment for his or her actions. It's a real extreme way to live. Around us, everyone's like, people should get what they deserve. But disciples of Jesus say, no, you know what? We need to treat people better than they deserve, which means we need to forgive others when they do something that hurts our feelings, and we don't always need to make them pay the consequences or maybe even the full amount of the consequences that they're owed for their actions. Now, one of the great ways that I love to read the Bible is I start to think, what if? What if things didn't work out exactly how they say in the Bible? What if someone did something different, said something different? What could it have been like? And so I want to do that with our Bible story from this week. We find it in Matthew chapter 18. So by the way, if you haven't read it, find a Bible. You can look at an app on a phone. You can go to an archaic laptop like this and look it up. Or real archaic. They still make these things called book with like pages in them, and you can find it in a Bible like that. It's Matthew 18, starting in verse 21. I've invited some friends to read some, it could have been like this, versions of this story today. And so we've got three of those, three friends, three stories to share with you today. Now, here's our first version of our story. Jenna is going to read this for us. And in this story, she's going to say the word mercy a bunch. And whenever you hear her say the word mercy, I want to clap real loud 3 times. Quick like that. Like that, so you don't miss the story, right? Make your parents wonder, why are they just randomly clapping in the other room? It's so weird. So let's listen to version 1 of It Could Have Been Like This with Jenna, and listen for that word mercy, and we'll talk about it when she's done.
Once, Jesus told a story about a king who showed mercy to one of his servants. The king found out about a man who owed him 10,000 talents. This was a lot of money at that time. Now the servant was not able to pay that much money, and so he asked for mercy. The king decided to show mercy to the servant. He told him that he was free to go and that he didn't owe any money. The servant was very happy. On his way home, he saw his neighbor. He had loaned some money to this neighbor. The servant decided that he needed his money back right then, and he told his neighbor that he needed to pay up immediately. The neighbor said that he was not able to pay him and asked for more time. The servant did not want to show him mercy, so he took him to jail and made him stay there until he was able to pay back all the money that he owed. The king found out about this and was very angry. He called the servant back to him and asked him why he did not show mercy to his neighbor when the king had shown mercy to him. The king decided to put the servant in prison because he was not merciful to his neighbor.
Well, thanks, Jenna. All right, did you hear the word mercy in there? I bet you did if you were listening. So let's talk about this. Did anyone in this story show mercy? Yeah, that's right. The king definitely showed mercy. He forgave that huge debt. It says 10,000 talents here. That's like, $1 million or so in today's money. He forgave this huge debt for this servant. Who should have shown mercy in this? Yeah, definitely that first servant who was forgiven, right? I mean, imagine being forgiven something and then going right out and for refusing to forgive someone who does the exact same thing. It's insane to think that way. Now, the reality is that sometimes we do the same thing. Sometimes our parents or our teachers or a brother or sister might forgive us for something, but we might not be willing to forgive other people for that exact same thing. So we shouldn't pick on this servant too much. Now, if you've read this in the Bible or you listened to the Daily Snack earlier this week, you know that this is basically the story that we find Jesus telling in the Bible. Jesus was trying to tell this story about mercy, and this is what he chose to tell. So this is, it could have happened this way. In Jesus' story, it did happen this way. But Jesus didn't have to tell that story that way. He wasn't telling about true events. He was making up a story for people to learn from. And so Scott is going to come out, and he's going to read to us a second version of it could have been like this story. Now, I also want you to listen for the word mercy in Scott's video, and when you hear that word, I want you to stomp your feet 3 times. Again, leave your parents wondering why are they in the other room stomping their feet? It's so weird. So, Scott, why don't you tell us this version of the story?
One day, a king found out about a man who owed him 10,000 talents. Now, that was a lot of money at the time. But the servant wasn't able to pay that much, so he asked for mercy. The king was in a bad mood that day and didn't want to show mercy. So he decided he was going to throw the man into jail because he couldn't pay his debt. The king would not show mercy.
All right, thanks, Scott. Cool background, too. I like that. All right, now, did anyone in this story show mercy? No, there was no mercy to be had for anyone in this version of the story. It's pretty sad. Who should have shown mercy? Yeah, the king. I mean, this poor servant, he's begging. He's begging for more time. And by the way, I think the king might have been a little responsible for this too, right? I mean, like, who loans a servant millions of dollars and then gets mad when they can't pay it back? So strange. All right, I've got one final version of the story. Yari is going to come and tell us that. I want you to listen to that word mercy again. And every time Yari says mercy, I want you to yell, show mercy! Not no mercy, show mercy. Again, your parents are going to be like, man, they were clapping, they were stomping, now they're yelling. What is going on over there at the Daily Snack? It'll be fun when they poke their head in the room and say, what are you doing? All right, Yari, take it away.
One day, a king found about a man who owed him 10,000 talents. This was a lot of money at the time. Now the servant was not able to pay that much money, and so he asked for mercy. The king decided to show mercy to the servant. He told him that he was free to go and that he didn't owe any money. The servant was very happy. On his way home, he saw his neighbor to whom he had given some money some time ago. The servant asked the neighbor if he could pay him back the money he owed him. He said that he was not able to pay him and asked for more time. The servant thought about how the king had showed him mercy. He decided that he would show his neighbor mercy as well and told him that he didn't owe him the money anymore. The neighbor went away very happy because his neighbor showed him mercy.
Okay, who showed mercy in Yari's version of the story? Yeah, everyone done show some mercy. I mean, the king showed mercy to that first servant, and then the first servant learned from what the king did for him and said, I've got to put this into action in my life too, and he showed mercy to that second servant. Was it the right thing to do? Yeah, I think it was. I think the Bible, from the very front of this book to the very back of this book, tells us all about how God wants us to forgive others, show mercy to others, even when it costs us something. I mean, this cost that king millions of dollars. It cost this servant some money as well, but it's still the right thing to do. It's the way God designed us to live. It's the extreme way that followers of Jesus live for God. Now, you did a great job hanging in there, listening to all those stories, figuring out who showed mercy, who didn't show mercy in each of those. And just like we saw the people in our stories show mercy, and it could have been like that, you should choose to show mercy to people in your lives as well. Always remember, no matter what somebody has done to you, God has shown you incredible mercy. The consequence that we deserve for not always living the life that He designed us to live, for ignoring God, for disobeying God, is to be separated from Him now and forever. But God does not want us to have to hold and bear those consequences. He sent His Son Jesus to earth to live a perfect life and ultimately to die on a cross for us so that we did not have to bear the consequences for our actions. That is what mercy is all about, and that is why God says you and me and everyone who follows Him, we need to be pros at showing mercy to others. It's such an extreme way to live. And that wraps up today's time on the Daily Snack. Now, tomorrow, you don't got no school. Come back for the, what are we doing? We're going to club dance tomorrow. Come back for club dance. I have a special version of club dance all planned for you. I can't wait until you check it out tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you there. I love club dance. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Young man, always surfing, no waves.